Hi there guys, let's have a look at this Finnish capture M-91 Mosin Nagant. And of course, because it's an M91, it has a hexagonal receiver. The stock is probably Arctic birch, and it has a pine tar finish on it. Steel butt plate, of course. It's got the uniquely Finnish wire swivels. They took out the dog collars and inserted these plates with 2 screws on each side to hold a more conventional sling, so you don't need the collars on a sling like you do with a normal Mosin. Another feature of these Finnish reworks is the finger jointed stock. So the buttstock portion of the rifle is separate from the fore end. You can see the finger joint here that connects the 2 pieces of wood together. A sure sign of a Finnish capture are the sight markings. You can see on this side we've got 8.5, 7, 5.5, 4, 3, and 2 meters. And on the other side, the original markings have been struck through. These would have been in Arshins or Arshini, I believe, and they've been struck through and replaced with the meters. So moving further up the rifle, we have the same style of wire sling swivels that we had at the back. Cleaning rod, and the front sight. And these are sighted to shoot on without a bayonet. As you can probably tell, this rifle's seen a little bit of mileage. Of course, the Finns recycled parts from everywhere and put them into rifles. Built rifles up out of Russian receivers, American receivers, French receivers, and so forth. And this one has a Finnish manufactured barrel on it. Not sure how well that's going to show up, but it's a VKT manufactured barrel with the D chambering. So I believe that is basically set up for the Russian style of ball ammo, and it's got a production date of 1941. And the serial number is on the barrel. It's also on the receiver, and it's also been stamped on the bolt itself. So this is about as matching as you're going to get with one of these guns, considering that they were put together from bits and pieces, basically. It's a good shooter, though. It's got a decent barrel on it. It's not in bad shape at all inside. The barrel's still shiny, and it has got a lot of life left in it. The rear sights are the typical M91 style of sight. It can also be used flipped up like this, although that would be a pretty rare occurrence that anybody would use the volley style fire. By the time the Finns were using these rifles, that sort of practice had been abandoned quite a while ago. So I'm going to shoot some cast bullets out of this today. Running some slightly unusual ammunition through the Mosin today. This is a Chinese surplus cartridge case. I had pulled a bunch of this stuff apart to try the bullets and powder in my sniper rifle. I wasn't really very keen on shooting corrosive primers in the sniper rifle, so I ended up with these Berdan primed cases. So I ended up loading them with a C312 185 2R Lee cast bullet with a gas check, sized to 311, and I've got 30 grains of IMR 4227 in that. So it's a fairly vigorous cast bullet load for all. It's got pretty good speed for a relatively fast powder. This is something I thought I'd point out to you. It's easier to load the mag of these things if you put the cartridge case right to the very back, underneath the cutout for the charger. If you force the rounds in through the back, they'll go in there easier than if you try to shove them from the front and back. So it's a lot easier just to go straight down, pretty well as far back as you can go. And if your interrupter is working properly, you shouldn't have any issues with rim lock.